Hi guys, this is Tony here from Metal Roos. You're about to sit down and enjoy an interview I just did um, over there, and so do like and subscribe so you can get all this straight into your streaming and into your consciousness as soon as it arrives. So enjoy the interview, and I will. Over to you, Tony. Well, thanks, Johnny, for coming on for to Metal Roos for having a chat with us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for
For
having me.
yeah, man, for this new brilliant album that's coming out on the 15th of August.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not far away.
No, really, really, it's going to be exciting to see what people think about it. It's. I wanted to have it out earlier actually because I was like, oh, it's been ready and done for such a long time now. But you know how it is. Record companies have their schedules, and they want to do things their way, and that's how it is.
Oh yeah, you can't. Yeah, exactly right.
I can't break that schedule, even if I like love to.
Yeah, the cogs of the wheels keep turning, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's how it is.
So it's your 15th studio album.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I can't believe it's been 15 albums.
Yeah, man, I kind of, pinch me thinking the same. It's like, what is it, like 37 years or something and 15 albums? It's
Madness.
like, I kind of, if you think about it, you don't really have that many things that are that old in your possession. It doesn't matter what it is, like a shirt or a car or a tool of some sort. It's
Mm.
it's like it's a long time. And but we're very fortunate to be able to do this still, and we keep pretty consistent, and we're basically intact, and none of us are dead yet. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the key is that the longevity is that you haven't you're very focused. Every album has a focus. When you
Yeah,
bring an album out, you do what you want to do, but every time we put on one of your records, we know it's you, you
that's
know.
good to hear. Good to hear.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
and that's exactly what we love to hear because that's we it's strange because we spoke about that when I was a young kid. We spoke about that when in the the late 90, oh well, let's say the late 89, I think we formed the band.
Mm.
And we spoke about that actually and said, well, if you want to be want to be playing death metal, that's Unleashed, but if you want to do something different, that's fine, but it's not going to happen in Unleashed. And we said, well, the key thing, even if it's in the future or now, it's going to be that we will have to have some kind of consistency. You want to keep to the roots and keep developing. And I think we managed to do just that because that's what people keep telling me. We haven't really strayed away to something strange in 4 albums and then came back. We just kept doing what we do and try to develop from that.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about that, John. There really is. There's something to said about um, knowing where you are when you put on a certain band's albums. Knowing not completely not wanting something new because you do like to explore things, but knowing the DNA is there,
Yeah, yeah,
And
right, right.
yeah, and I think this new album is very much like that.
Well, good to hear. Really, thank you, thank you. That's exactly what we want to hear because we really are talking about that every new album that we're in the process of starting to start making the new album. We talk about that and and I think we haven't really thought about anything different at any time at any point in time in history. We never even thought about going in a different direction. So um, yeah, but it's the key thing is that you want to develop. You want to develop within your own style, and you want to be able to try some new things and maybe even some new influences. But you have to keep to the roots and make that a part of the Unleashed formula, so to speak. Because you can't be playing the exact same thing as you did in 1992 either.
No,
You have to go in some kind of direction which makes things sound a little bit more fresh, and you have to do that, otherwise you just stand still, and that's not good. That's not helpful either.
no,
So yeah,
agreed.
yeah,
Because you'll get bored. The audiences will, you need a little bit, as I said, a little bit of spice added to the mix
right.
as you go. But this album here, it's telling a story, which is what you're very good at. through this album, but it's a nod back to a previous album, isn't it? It's a sort of follow-on,
Yeah,
sort of.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
it's the story of, and I'm always going to say this wrong, Odelheim. Is that Odelheim? Am I
yeah.
saying that right?
Oldham, yeah,
Odelheim.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
brilliant. So, it's a sort of battle stories and stories of great daring.
Yeah, it's from a book that me and a friend started writing about like years ago, and we never really finished it. I mean, we wrote a lot, but we never finished it because we realized it's going to take too much time, and we just weren't ready for it. And but we had done a lot, and so when I started, what is it now, 6 albums ago, I started to kind of translate the chapters into lyrics and songs, so to speak. And that's where we are right now, 6 albums later, on the same storyline, and it seems to work very well. I wasn't sure about that when I started. I think it was on the Azygdrasil Trembles album. We
Mm.
started with 3 songs just to 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 to, to get things going, and then if we just I kept in a flow from there. We just kept on going with it. And it works out very well. I wasn't sure really in the beginning, of course, if this would be a good thing to do. But then the storyline is that the whole story, the book is pretty big, which is actually the reason for why we never finished the book.
Yeah.
Um, even so, I mean, the entire thing about this storyline is really, it's the essence of Unleashed and the Viking tradition, past, present, and future. And
Mm.
since the world of Oldheim is really a story about the future, and the Miga warriors' constant battle against their main enemy, White Christ. This is something that Unleashed did in the past as well. I mean, even from the first albums, we've spoke about the same type of issues. Although this is, of course, a story of the future, so to speak. So we're not talking really literally axes and shields. We're talking about modern weapons and
Mm.
warships. No, now it doesn't matter because it's still the past, present, and future of Viking tradition.
Mm.
And but I think it works out well, and people keep telling me you should not stop this, and so I just keep on translating the chapters into songs, so to speak. I guess we'll see where it ends. I don't really know.
Ah.
I know how the book ends, but I don't know if when this. Well, it's also a cooperation between the band members, and
Mm.
if they would say one day, well, let's go back to where we did it in the '90s. Perhaps we will, but so far everybody's been in the band has been really positive about it, and people that I speak to also say, well, keep the story alive, and so we just go.
Yeah, you should. It's wonderful. I mean, it's a good allegory because the Vikings, throughout their history, were travelers and innovators in all sorts of ways, and I think that comes across in the lyrical content and the ideas in this particular album, like the albums. And
Yeah,
I
cool.
I love the Captured Son of the White Christ. What a fantastic title.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the whole thing has been it's really strange in a way to be telling a story that, I mean, if you have a book that like 2 million people have already read, then it sounds pretty reasonable to make music or a movie or something out of that. But
Mm,
here I am trying to make justice of something that nobody read in the whole
yeah.
world. I mean, nobody knows what. So that's a bit strange. I mean, but it's still good because it also gives me a pretty bizarre freedom to change things. I can even change things that are not really in the book, and that's good because that keeps the story alive in a way.
Yes, yeah, and don't you think though that's great because people aren't coming to it with bias. If I love a book, like you said, it's so in your soul. When you listen to a music version of it or go to a movie, you always come out ever some disappointed. But
Yeah,
you won't
yeah.
have that with this because they don't know.
Right, right,
Only
and
only you
it's a
know.
bizarre thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I absolutely agree. I mean, but it is bizarre because nobody knows and nobody can really know, and well, hell knows I don't even think we ever will manage to complete the book because I mean we said at the end of it that it was just too much work. I mean, you can have a lot of things ready, you can have a lot of chapters ready, you can have a lot of of ideas ready and a lot written, but in order to complete things, a book that is such a, I mean, it was a bit too wide. I mean, I think we started off too wide,
Mm.
and it became just too big for us. I'm sure we would have finished it, but then it would take a few years to actually make it professional. And so I felt, well, I already have something that is at least decently professional, which is in my band, and
Mm.
I don't have to, I only have to complete a song when I make something. If I steal something from a chapter, I only have to complete a song, and that's like, that's the classic Unleashed style. Two verses and three choruses and a bridge. It's not,
Yeah.
you know, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that that's when the song starts and it ends,
Yes.
and it doesn't have to be more complex than that. And so it's just in my imagination where I know from the book that events that happen in the book won't be presented in that very song, but they happen in between songs, and of course I don't have the space enough to tell that story, but that's fine. That's okay. Even it's strange because we spoke about the album cover
Mm.
also, and the album cover artwork is exactly in between two lyrics. It's in between two songs. So that there's no storytelling exactly what that is. But I know because it's between two songs, and normally that would be one of the songs. That would
Mm.
be that the actual cover artwork would be presented in the lyrics in one of the songs, but it isn't. So it's a bit strange. I mean, but that's fine. No, nobody can say it's wrong because
No,
I'm the only
no, exactly.
I'm the only guy who knows it. So so
But
that's fine.
isn't that a nice? But isn't that a nice Easter egg for future listeners? You know, they put the album on, they buy it, they might buy the vinyl, they might buy the CD, they might down whatever. They're looking at the
Yeah,
cover, trying to work out what is this about, and then listen to the album and they go, I think I get it. I think that's a real sweet moment that
yeah, it
that you
is.
might
It's
capture it later on in the listen.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that it's when I think that's it, and it's a challenge too to see if people actually can imagine what happens too. I mean, some people who listen to music, and it doesn't matter which type of music, they are more interested in the catchiness and the choruses perhaps and just the song. And
Mm.
some people are really into reading lyrics and trying to figure out what's going on with the content and where it starts and where it ends. Of course, but we are all different, and everybody has their and for this storyline, you could actually imagine things, and of course, if you like it that way, then that's amazing to read a storyline. But on the other hand, we also said that before we create an album like this, you should be able to take one of the songs and just listen to that song, and it's going to be possibly, you should possibly be able to look at that lyric, and this could be your average day of life. Could be a Tuesday for all I care.
Yeah.
And that's the thing we've done with Unleashed ever since the start. Because our songs are supposed to be past, present, and future Viking tradition,
Mm.
and everyday battle of life. So if it is in the storyline or if it's in your everyday life, it's still as good, and it should be possible to read it that way. So either way is good for me.
I think that's brilliant, Johnny, because I'm a lyrical person. I'm really
Hmm.
always to have loved word, the written word and the spoken word.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
so I do dive in to lyric deeply, but I tell you something, it's be very difficult for a band. I don't know how you do it, where you said you can have a complex-ish storyline folding
Right.
through these albums, but still have but still be an album of individual songs. You're
Right.
not you're
Right.
not make you're not
Right.
writing a concept album as such. And I just sort of think that's a very smart. I don't know how you do it because I'd get too complicated in all the story lyrics. I'd be like, you take a single out and you go, I don't know. I have to listen to the whole album for it to work.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Mm.
It's. I think that's actually embedded in the challenge of making the new record. We try and see too that, well, obviously there are songs that are extremely storyline positioned, so to speak.
Mm.
But they are also meant to be something that you can just take out and say, okay, this is my favorite song. I like listening to this one. Well, isn't this something that could this could actually be a depth of a thought that would sort of uh, apply to my everyday life, and that's where I want to go. At least if it works every time, I don't know. Others can be the judge of that, but at least that's how we think about it when we make them, and so that's a challenge. That's a challenge, and it's really good fun as well to write lyrics like that.
Yeah, I think this is a really textured musical album as well. I think the music on here, outside of the lyric, is really unleashed at its core, which I really love. But it's also got some interesting moments here and there that do sound a little bit experimental, like we talked about earlier. Just doing a little bit something different.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take you away. It doesn't pull you out of the moment. Sometimes you listen to an album and a band does something strange and suddenly you're out of the moment. You're pulled out of that moment and then you can't seem to get back in.
Hmm.
I don't feel that with this one. I feel there's some textures in there that really roll over well with the pattern of the album. So
Good
thank
to
you for
hear.
that.
Good to
Yeah,
hear.
yeah.
Thank
That
you.
was to say
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank
It's
you. Well,
great.
that's amazing to hear because that's the I can't get a better critic than that. So good. Thank you.
No, no, I mean it because, as I said, I love experimental music, and you put experimental music on, and when you do that, you're going to a different space. But when you put on like an album like this, you want to take it on a journey, and
Yeah,
but also drawn along musically, and you have your typical Unleashed sort of passion and power and strength, and
that's good to
sometimes
hear.
yeah, and when sometimes do little bits on the side, but it doesn't draw you out.
Right. Cool. Cool. Very,
And
very
yeah,
cool.
uh,
Yeah,
and
I love to hear that because that's just I that's what's in my mind before create starting writing the lyrics, and also before, actually even before, when I started writing the vocal melodies for the songs, because I always do the vocal melodies way before the actual lyrics,
mm,
and that's something that I
wow,
have to, my task is to make the songs rise a little bit. They have to be a little bit better than they are. I don't know if that's possible, but because I really really love Frederick's way of making music, but I think that my job is to make them a little bit stronger somehow with the vocal melodies, and then apply the lyrics so that there's because that's how I listen to music myself. I mean, when I was young, and even today, if I listen to the new Eclipse heavy metal type album, then I just love the catchy choruses, and I love the way they build the music. And it was the same when I was younger. I'd listen to the new Motorhead or AC/DC, and I would just love the structures. I love the fact that you can come back to a chorus all the time that is strong, and that you can remember when you walk to school and such.
mm,
And that's the way we like music ourselves. And I think what you talked about here is that you don't really stray away. You don't move away from it, and you want to keep to it. And that's I think that's important. There are enough records in my collection that I somehow, especially when I was younger, now, when we kind of bought whatever was out there,
mm.
and you listen to something, and then you kind of stop listening after a while, and there is some lack of dynamics, I guess, when that happens. And that's something that I'm really afraid of. I really want people to think that our album is dynamic enough, catchy enough, and interesting enough, so that it doesn't become like nine extremely fast songs, and then you don't give a rat's ass about how it ends.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, Johnny, absolutely.
there's nothing wrong with fast music. I'm just saying,
Mm.
because obviously we play fast music too, but I'm just really scared that you would stop listening, because I know a lot of people, a lot of friends of mine who listen to, like, primarily heavy metal music. They didn't like our stuff in the past because they thought it was just too grindy. They just thought it was, you know, too much hassle to start thinking about this type of music,
Mm.
even. And but now they're really into it. So there are many things that are involved there. There are, of course, the production. It's the way we handle the choruses,
Mm.
and the fact that the music is varied and dynamic. That's, at least that's what they tell me now, and they actually like it, and that's amazing because in my mind, we haven't really changed at all.
Yeah.
We just we just try to get better productions and better as musicians all the time. But well, it's well, I could talk forever about it, but I
Mm.
think we're on the right path. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
we'll
mean,
see.
genuinely, it's harder these days, Johnny, for bands to get albums out there where the someone who buys it or downloads it listens to every track from beginning to end.
Right, right,
You know
right.
that. Like
Yep,
now we live in
yep,
a world where
yep.
people download one song and they think that's it. I'm done. I'm off. It,
Right.
and
And that's the era we're in, you know.
yeah,
That's the era we're in now with the digital, there's an attention span of like 9 seconds now. You know, it's
geez, it is ridiculous, isn't it?
that's
Oh,
yeah, man, that's the truth. So, but the good side of that is that that means we have to shape up. We have to be better. We can't just smash things. We can't just roll things out. We have
no,
to understand that. And
yeah,
people listen to songs also. They don't just want to have technical music. They want to have a song. And
yes,
and I think it is hard to release a full album and have some kind of to keep people involved in that album from start to end. I mean, that's today that almost sounds impossible, but at least we have to try. I mean, we're on the old tribe. We're old school. We really like it this way. We want to keep giving out our albums. We want to keep doing this, and we want to um, keep it interesting enough. But I agree. The people listen to one song, and if that's not good enough, fuck it.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Well, yeah,
maybe even not the first song. Maybe even like the first two riffs.
it's crazy, isn't
So,
it? I mean,
yeah, man.
you and I both come from an era where
Yep,
we didn't have much money. We'd go and buy the album. You didn't listen to it before. You had no idea, maybe one single. You take
yep,
it home, you put it on, and you had to be with it. Uh,
exactly.
and you gave yourself the all and time for that. And I think that's why
Yep,
bands like Unleashed in this modern world have a foothold in better than most because you come from a time where you know it was important to have
yep,
A
yep,
and B, side A and side B, and the way the tracks
yep.
moved and where they sat
Right,
was
right.
important.
Yep, yep.
And I
Yeah,
think now, I hope, I mean, I always hope, Johnny, I really hope deep in my soul that sometime, somewhere's going to turn and
yeah.
people will
It's
go
funny you
back
should
to
say.
albums.
Hey, Tony, man, it's funny you should say that because some time ago I spoke with Nicky from Helicopters, and he told me, Johnny, sure as hell, this has to turn someday, right? Young people have to start understanding how good this is. And I'm like,
Yeah,
man, you're so right. You're so right, man. It's
yeah.
just, I don't know if the tide's going to turn, but, still, I would say the good thing is now that, as opposed to in the past, the entire world can listen to
Well,
the music.
instantly. Yes, that is
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yes.
And I can present a song. If I present a video now, there are no excuses anymore. And the entire world can listen to it. And I mean, if you get 200 comments like this on something that you publish, and like 182 of them says, "This album fucking sucks, man. This song is so bad, I don't want to see this shit anymore." Okay, maybe I have to understand that I did something really fucked up. Maybe I should be, you know. So there's some truth to it, unless it's a spam, of course. I mean,
Of
if it's a spam,
course.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, let's just take that aside. But I mean, I mean, we have a fan base, obviously, after
Mm.
37 years. If I put out something and like I get 150 comments on something, then and like three of them says you guys should fucking go someplace else, don't do this. Well, there's always someone that's going to tell this guy, dude, go get a diaper,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and,
What? Cry
and
me
that
some
happens.
tears. Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's
it.
fucking funny, man. That happens. And so and if there's so many people that actually thinks this is absolutely fantastic, these are the guys that you need to look at. These are the comments you should look at, and these are the guys you play for when you get out there.
Of course it
And
is.
I think that's
They're the
just
ones
the way
buying
to
the
go. That's the
tickets.
way to go.
Yeah, they're buying
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tickets. They're
And
buying the
they can be
albums.
from everywhere.
Yeah.
They can be from any place in the world, which is actually amazing because when I started this, and you know how it was way back then,
Mm.
you had a number of records and you had a number of friends, but you could probably name them all.
Yeah.
and you know exactly how they look like, etc. It's funny, but these were the days, man, and I guess you could publish whatever you wanted to publish. It didn't matter if you came out with a new single or a new album or a new T-shirt design. It was there was a limited amount of people that actually would know that.
Yes.
No matter how much you worked on it, there was just you could. It was hard, really.
Yeah.
So I always say that I kind of enjoy this era more actually because it gives at least it gives you the opportunity to showcase whatever you have out there, and see if people really like it. If they don't, fine. You can't, like Lem used to say, you can't please them all anyway.
No, no.
So
And it is like a community. I mean, you do feel. I mean, if someone told me 40 years ago I'd be sitting in my, in my studio in my house talking to someone in, so like over the other side of the world, but I'd be like, "Get what are you talking about?" Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's quite like, it's long gone are the days of looking through the back of Kerrang or Metal Hammer or,
Right, right.
trying to find the underground bands.
Yeah,
There's no true underground anymore because you can find it where you want to find it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
Well,
I love that.
yeah. I mean, there will always be good and bad things about everything, and we
Mm.
have to just accept that it's the way of the world. We can't stop it. Not more than necessary, I guess. But
Yeah.
I try to just say that, well, if there's too much, let's say, competition out there, because
Mm.
now there are like 9
Oh.
million death bands, for example.
Mm.
Now, if you produce something, you put something out that isn't good enough, maybe it isn't. You know,
Mm.
it's that too.
There is
Maybe
a
it isn't good
yeah.
enough. So
There's a
so you
legitimate point. Yeah.
yeah, we have to consider that. I mean, like 30 years ago, you put out a death metal album, that album was good. Didn't matter. It was good because everybody thought it was good. Even if it wasn't that good, it would be good anyway. And
Yes,
and
because it
that's
wasn't
not
much of
happening.
it. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Like because that exactly because whatever you had in your collection back then, LPs, obviously,
Mm.
then you would love them. Because well, you already spent some money on them,
Mm.
and hopefully they were good. And if they weren't that good, they're good anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I must have played.
that's not happening today.
Yeah. I must have played Slayer's Rain and Blood till it was bloody thin. Like,
Yeah, man.
you
Yeah, man.
know,
That's yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
That's just and that's one of the albums that actually were extremely strong, and it still is a strong album.
it's amazing.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. You can't I can't even it's just I play that for my son.
Oh,
It's just
smart. What a lucky boy.
yeah, man, and it's just absolutely fantastic. And I when that came out, we had no idea that was going to last that long. We had no
No,
idea.
who
We
would
thought
have
it was
thought?
just a party album. It
Yeah.
was absolutely amazing when it came out, and we thought it was just a something that you brought to every damn party you went to. But 35 years later, nah, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's actually true.
Yeah.
So
I saw them on that Rain of Blood tour.
wow,
I was
wow,
16 and
wow.
it was mind blowing, man.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely mind blowing. And
Yeah. Oh, I didn't. I'm getting jealous now. Yeah, that's amazing.
it was
Yeah, man.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It-
I remember some of these shows that I went to way back then. I saw Anthrax in Stockholm very early,
mm,
and Metallica when they were, and like what the hell?
yeah.
I was just blown away. I'm like, fuck me, this is
Yeah.
just and you felt instantly that you can threaten me with whatever, you can kill me. I'm still gonna like it,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still gonna be and I felt it way back then. I couldn't really put my fingers on how many years this would last. Of course not, because
No. Yeah.
that's looking too far in the future, being young.
Yeah.
But still, you can feel it. You
Yeah.
felt it right, and it's
Life
still the same.
changing. It was life
Yeah, man.
changing for me.
Oh
It was
yeah,
life
for
changing.
sure, for
And
sure.
so like, you see nowadays I just always like that's why I love albums like your stuff, Johnny, and bands like you because I'm always constantly chasing that life-changing moment. I'm always
Yep,
constantly
yep,
chasing that it's like a
yep.
drug. I just want the extra new high. I want to
Right.
be at that edge. And
Yep, yep,
it's wonderful that like bands like yourself are still doing that because it
yep. And
constantly.
that. Yep. Exactly. And what you just said is exactly what we say, what we speak about 10 minutes before the show starts. Every damn festival we travel to. Like,
Brilliant.
what's it going to be like tonight? What's it going to be like tonight? Is it
Yeah.
going to be us playing and, and people looking at us, or is it going to be chaos between the crowd and the band? Is it going to be, because I've never felt that I play for people. I always felt that I play with them. And if that happens, it's a magic moment.
Oh yeah.
That's something that you can bring home. And whenever there is a show and there's then that doesn't happen, that's not a fantastic show. That's just it.
Yeah.
That's why we keep doing it. We like you said, we keep chasing that high.
Yeah.
And as a musician, I would say that's magic. That's the miracle of fucking the whole metal family
It
when that
is.
happens. It's like a cliche thing to say, but when you kind of come together in this fucking cold beer headbanging moment and everybody
Oh,
screams the same chorus, damn, it's like there's nothing like it, nothing in this world.
I agree.
And
I
yeah,
absolutely agree. And I'm an old man and I still can't get enough of it. So
right,
yeah.
yeah, man. It's the same when I go to a concert. I mean, it's like it's I kind of forget the fact that I'm actually in a band, and what we used to say sometimes that, dude, I want to be in the band. I want
Yeah.
to fucking go out there and fucking bang my heads and.
Yeah.
And then I realized, like a fucking 9-year-old child, hell, man, I'm in the band. It's
Yeah.
I
I
can
w
do this in 3 weeks from now. Come
Yeah.
on.
I always say if I come back from a gig and I don't need to see my chiropractor the next day, I mean I haven't done it properly.
Very right. Very right. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Oh
Great.
my God.
Yeah.
Some of the bangers I've had in my life. Oh Lord.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. And those are the things you remember, right? And,
Heck
when
yeah.
we're
Yeah.
on our deathbed, man, that's the thing to remember.
Yeah.
That's how you walk into Valhalla.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's
You, yeah, smashing my head on the rail, blood pouring down my face, still going. Who gives a crap? We've all done
yeah,
it,
man.
right?
Yep.
And
Yep. Yep.
it's just, it's the fountain of youth, Johnny. It's the fountain of youth.
It is.
It's
It is.
in our
Yep.
spot. It's what rock and roll's about. It's
Oh
that
yeah. Oh yeah.
spark.
Yeah.
It's that
Oh
youth,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, and I realized that even from the beginning, and I saw the first shows of AC/DC and
Mm.
Motorhead. I remember I saw Motorhead back in what is it, 81
Oh,
in
brilliant.
Stockholm, and fucking they play so damn loud. I had no idea what song it was in the first two
Yeah.
songs. But I realized after a while, oh fuck, man, this is Ace of Spades, and it's like, and the sheer energy of that was just absolutely stunning. I had no idea it. I didn't understand the feeling at first, but
No.
then when I actually did, and I was in the damn lyrics, I was in
Mm.
the fucking chorus,
Oh, yeah.
and the brothers and sisters beside me were when everybody was just banging heads and felt the same at the same time, which is exactly, if you just go a few years after that and the thrash metal came along and things were just getting
Yes.
a little bit more brutal, going to see fucking Anthrax or I'm like, dude, this shit ain't not going away, not going away,
Nah.
and it still isn't. So we were all right, we were all correct,
Yeah, we're all
you
correct,
know.
Johnny. We
Yeah,
put
man.
the money on the right horse.
Hell
That's
yeah.
well, thanks for chatting. Thanks for coming on. It's been a marvelous chat. Thank you. The
Absolutely,
album is
Tony. It's good
out.
chat.
Oh, it's amazing. Album's out on the 15th of August.
Yep.
Fire Upon the Lands. So it's going to be a killer of an album. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So I'm sure that Unleashed fans and Unleashed people who haven't heard Unleashed are going to love it.
Cool. Thanks a lot, man.
No, it's a
Thanks, Tony.
pleasure.
It's great chatting with you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
hope to see you very soon, man. We
Yeah.
have to come down under and fucking play. That's for
You
damn sure.
you bloody well should. Yes. All
Yeah,
right.
man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We should absolutely do that. That's a
Yeah.
promise. Yeah.
All right, man.
And
Thanks
we'll
for
meet
that.
up then and have a cool one.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
man.
definitely will. Absolutely, we will.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. All right. Great
Take it
chatting with you,
easy.
man.
Yeah,
Hope to see
take
you
it easy,
soon.
man. Yeah, too. You too, man.
Take it easy. Cheers. Cheers.
Bye.